Think about the last time you were in a tough spot with a prospect. You know, that moment when objections are flying, or the conversation's going sideways and you're thinking, okay, what do I do now? In those moments, what actually helps you? Is it remembering all those product specs from training, or is it something else entirely? I've talked with hundreds of sales professionals that all tell me the same thing. Despite hours of training, they feel like they're winging it when the conversation gets tricky. And get this, research shows that we forget about 87% of training content just after a month. That's crazy, right? Especially considering how much money companies pour into these programs. You know what I've noticed in my coaching and my years in sales? The ones who consistently crush their numbers aren't the ones who can rattle off features and benefits. They're the ones who can read the room, build genuine connections, and really get what makes their customers tick. And here's the thing, most of them figured out this stuff on their own, not from formal training. Today, I'm gonna talk about this gap and what actually helps you close the deal. If you've ever felt like there's a whole nother side to sales success that nobody's teaching you, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Brandon. I've sold in the trenches just like you, and now I'm coaching sales professionals. I've spoken with numerous salespeople who all tell me the same thing. Their company teaches about what they sell, but not nearly enough time on how to sell it effectively. So let's talk about what happens when you join a company. What's the first thing they train you on? Product, product, product. Features, specs, pricing, and how you stack up against competitors. You spend weeks memorizing slide decks until you can recite them in your sleep. And look, knowing your product does matter. I'm not saying that it doesn't. But here's the thing, when I ask salespeople about their toughest moments, I've never heard, man, I just didn't know enough about the product features. Instead, they talk about the human stuff. I couldn't get the prospect to open up about what they really cared about. I've had 5 different stakeholders all wanting different things. They kept nodding along excitingly, but then ghosted me in the end. Sound familiar? These challenges aren't about product knowledge. They're about people skills. I was coaching this guy Michael recently, brilliant guy, knew the products inside and out. He could answer any technical question thrown his way, but he was getting crushed by his teammate Sarah. So we spent some time reviewing their calls, and the difference wasn't product knowledge at all. Sarah just had a knack for reading in between the lines, asking questions that got to the heart of the issue, and adapting on the fly when the conversation took an unexpected turn. The kicker? The company hadn't taught either of them these skills. Sarah had just figured it out through trial and error. And Michael was left wondering what he was missing. Companies that develop these people skills alongside the product knowledge see way better results. So, what are these skills exactly? Let's talk about that. Based on what I've seen in coaching, there are 3 areas that can dramatically improve your results, and they're probably not in your company's training manual. Area 1. Conversational superpowers. This is about becoming the kind of person who can actually get to the truth in the conversation, not just hearing what you want to hear. Most companies might teach you what questions to ask, but not actually listen and respond to what you're hearing. Here are 3 simple practices that make a huge difference. First, try the echo and wait technique. When someone shares something important, just repeat their words exactly back to them. Then, this is the key. Shut up. Just wait. It feels awkward at first, but it's amazing how often people will just fill this silence with absolute gold, the stuff they weren't really planning on telling you. Second, become an emotion detective. Start noticing when your prospect's energy shifts up or down and simply name it. Sounds like that particular challenge is the real pain point for you, huh? Just acknowledging what people are feeling builds incredible trust. Third, embrace the one more question rule. Whenever you think you've asked enough questions, push yourself to ask one more. That final question is often where the real buying motivation comes out. I worked with a sales guy who just focused on these conversational skills for a month, and they started uncovering customer needs that completely changed their approach. Game changer. Area 2, adaptability ninja skills. It's about being able to pivot when things don't go according to plan, which, let's be honest, is pretty much every sales call, right? Sales scripts and playbooks are nice, but real success happens when those fall apart. The top performers aren't the ones with the perfect pitch. They're the ones who can roll with the punches. So here are 3 ways to level up your adaptability. First, try scenario planning light. Before your next important call, take just 5 minutes to imagine. What are 3 different ways this conversation could go? What if they love your first idea? What if they hate it? what if they bring up something completely unexpected? Just playing through these scenarios makes you way more flexible when surprises happen. Second, work on your communication chameleon skills. Some people are all about data and analysis. Others can connect through stories and examples. Your ability to spot which type of person you're talking to and shift your style accordingly is huge. Third, practice the objection flip. When you get an objection, instead of defending or countering, try turning it into a curious question that moves the conversation forward. Like this one. That's interesting. Can you tell me more about why that's a real concern for you? Do these quick role plays of these unexpected scenarios that might happen, and within a couple months, you'll be handling curveballs like a pro. Area 3, value storytelling. This might be the most important skill of all. Translating your product or service's features into real value that connects emotionally with your specific buyer. Product training teaches you what your stuff does. Value storytelling is about connecting those features to your prospect's personal and professional wins. Here are 3 ways to master this. First, practice the so what chain. For every feature you talk about, keep asking, so what? Until you reach something that matters emotionally to your customers. For example, our platform automates report generation. So what? So you'll save 5 hours every week. So what? So you can finally leave the office in time for your kid's baseball game without worrying about missing deadlines. Second, get into stakeholder mapping. For each deal, jot down every person who's involved in the decision and what winning personally looks like to each one of them. Your IT contact cares about different things than your CFO does, right? Tailoring your value story to each person individually makes a massive difference. Third, build your story bank. Start collecting real customer success stories for each different situation. Instead of saying this feature improves efficiency by 30%, you say, we implemented this for company X and their team was able to handle double the workload without adding headcount. Stories stick way better than stats. I coached a medical device sales pro that focused on just this one area for 3 months. Their sales doubled. Same product, same price. Just a completely different way of communicating value. Now, you might be thinking, my company isn't teaching any of this. Good news, you don't have to wait for them. Here are some simple ways to develop these skills all on your own. Number 1, record and review your calls. Nothing, and I mean nothing, will improve your skills faster than listening to yourself in action. Get permission first, of course, but start recording your calls and listen back with fresh ears. You'll spot so many opportunities that you missed. Number 2, find your sales Yoda. Every company has that one salesperson that just seems to have the magic touch. Buy them coffee and pick their brain. Ask if you can shadow them on some calls. I used to ask one of my colleagues if I could even help them with the proposal without taking a percent in the beginning, just so I could download their magic skills. Plus, most top performers are flattered when you ask them for advice. Number 3, create a quick daily practice. Spend just 10 minutes each day focusing on one tiny aspect of some of these skills. Maybe Mondays you practice conversational skills. Then on Tuesday you practice adaptability skills, and so on. Small daily habits beat occasional big efforts every time. Number 4, start a mini mastermind. Find 2 to 3 other sales professionals who also want to up their game and meet regularly. Role play tricky situations, even talk about your wins and your losses. Having a safe space to practice makes all the difference. Number 5, track your own progress. Come up with a simple way to measure your growth in each area. For conversation skills, you might track how many questions versus statements you make on a call. For adaptability, note how often you try a new approach when your first approach doesn't land. Look, here's the bottom line. Product knowledge gets you in the game, but these people skills are what helps you win it. The difference between average performers and top performers isn't how much product knowledge they know. It's about mastering these human connection skills. And the really good news, these are all learned skills that you can work on starting today. So I'd love to hear which one of these areas you're gonna focus on first. Drop a comment below and let me know what clicked for you. Remember, your company teaches you what you sell. It's up to you to master how to sell. Thanks for watching my video today. Please smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more sales tips.